Let's go.
Hey, welcome to Brunch with the Boys. We're here at the kitchen table. Hey, good evening, gentlemen.
Jeezy, what's good, everybody? We here.
Hey, so this is Mr. Gent out here. And unfortunately, King Dez had a family emergency. Don't worry, he's
Handle
safe.
business, bro.
But he's handling his business. But we did bring in a guest. So I want you guys to take some time and welcome PC.
Hey, what's up? What's up?
I appreciate you stepping in, bro.
Yeah, man, happy to be here.
It's a good look. It's a good look.
We got a special guest.
Of course. So I'm super excited about our special guest here. So who we have with us today is Michelle Hope. She's a dedicated sexologist, educator, and activist. She has a master's degree in human development and a post-graduate degree as well in sexuality. So she's been doing this thing for about 15 years, probably over 15 years.
I majored in the wrong thing in school.
You think sexology should have been your
That would
thing?
have been great.
I would have been so passionate about
I
it.
would have been too. I would have liked to know about sexology.
I felt like he would have grown out a fro that have been real gray.
Oh,
big.
yeah.
Oh, with an
I
afro.
could have been world
like
renowned.
that.
I believe in myself.
But it's not about you. It's about
my
Michelle.
bad.
And so Michelle has legitimately done everything. She's been on the Breakfast Club. She's been on BET Black Coffee. She's been with Dr. Brenda Wade, Modern Love. She's been on legit everything. She's all over the place. She actually even turned into a meme. That's how, like, she's hood famous now.
Oh,
okay?
oh, yeah.
So I'm not sure if she loves that or doesn't love that, but to me, even bad publicity is great publicity. So, because it allows her a platform to talk about the stuff that she loves. But welcome, Michelle.
Oh, yeah.
What's up? Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And just let's caveat, I did do a lot of postgraduate work. I don't have an extra degree in sexology, so I don't want people out here thinking I'm like lying. And as far as being hood famous, I'm a hood. I think sometimes people assume that because I've done a lot and I speak eloquently, I'm a ratchet bitch. Like at the end of the day, like
I see it in your eyes. I
saw
in
it.
your eyes.
you know, like I'm a little hood, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
That's fine. I don't need to show that all the time.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
But,
there's a
you know,
tigress behind that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's there.
Yeah, for sure. I'm so happy to be here. So I'm excited. Let's get into it.
All right, so what we're talking about tonight's topic is
Hot dog and buns.
no.
Okay.
That is the title, that weird-ass title. But what we're actually talking about is what makes sex good. And this came from Dez, actually, and he called me up and he was like, "Jeez, we got to do this topic. What makes pussy good?" And we talked about it for a half hour or so that day, and it was a good conversation, so I want to dive right into it. Okay. I want to ask this question off rip. Is it how wet the pussy is that makes pussy good? Is it how big the dick is that makes the dick good? Let's start there first, because I think wetness and size are the most obvious variables.
I mean, is this like? I mean, you gonna you gonna have to get close. Is this a question to me?
All
is
of
this
us.
rhetorical?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
definitely. I would definitely like for you to speak towards the dick,
I will.
as I myself do not, partake in the dick. So please.
Okay, that's no problem.
Please.
What do you think? What do you think
wonderful
is the most
disclaimer.
important? I mean, you said you think it's size, and you think it's wetness. But
If speaking from a man's perspective, if I would believe for a woman, size is very relevant. Now I have a lot of homegirls, and they're always saying it's the motion of the ocean. Size doesn't really matter. But the girls that you date, the first thing they'll say is size matters. So I don't think you can really win with a tiny dick.
Are we gonna discount like an emotional connection too, or
Come in.
are we gonna discount like an emotional connection too, or we just gonna say like is it just the physical?
Do you think someone
Are we
has
looking
an emotional connection with you the first time you have sex? Are you waiting that long? You don't look like the
No,
type of nigga
no,
that's waiting
like,
that long.
But you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you could have that emotional connection just by looking in each other's eyes. You don't necessarily have to know everything about each other. You know what I'm saying? But you could have a moment where
Okay,
you're
so
like,
let me paint this picture real quick. You're saying we emotionally connect, we catch eyes. Oh my gosh, there's a connection. We talk about shit. For some reason, we're compatible. You think that means it's okay for your dick to be small now because she likes you beyond
no,
that?
that's what I'm saying. That's
Boy,
what I'm
you're
saying.
lying
It's not
to
okay
yourself,
It's not
boy.
okay for the dick to be small.
Okay.
But it gives the dick some
It-
space.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
okay.
you can come in as a 7, you know what I'm saying? And it feels like a 10. You know what I'm saying? But but if you don't have that connection, then you
Yeah.
got to come in as a 10. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
And 10, I think, and again, we need to let Michelle speak to this because the average penis size is 5.5, I believe, 5.5.
When I
So
say 10,
10s ain't coming in.
I'm talking you got to hit the spot.
Okay, you're not talking about
Yeah,
particular
I'm not talking
inches.
Size.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just saying you got to hit the spot. That's what I would think. You know what I'm saying? I'm speaking from my experience.
Well, I think there's a couple things that we have to keep in mind. First and foremost, wetness is really, really important because wetness can then impact friction and the pleasure, like how you can have pleasure, right? So
Right.
when we think about, like, I'm looking around, I know how old I am. We are all of a certain age. And as we continue to age, we will find that lubrication in women, in regards to hormones, can become less. So we have to think about that. So that's one. Wetness is definitely important, but we all know you can have lube. You can use lube. Please
What
don't
age
use-
does that come in?
it can actually should use lube all the time because you should be using condoms, and condoms can actually sometimes irritate or they can create dryness. So what you want to focus on is keeping it wet. You want to keep it wet. Now, a couple things about size. Okay, you have to think about where the nerve endings are in the clitoris, in the vulva, right? And there are 8,000 of them are in the clitoris.
Damn.
Okay. That the clitoris is not, at your cervix. While people do get turned on and sometimes can find a lot of pleasure with people going deep, right, and diving in deep, I think that what we have to remember is like it's not a never-ending cavernous hole. Okay, it stops.
Yeah.
It's a full stop there,
Good,
like a period.
good. Who would
okay?
want it? Who would want it to be never ending?
And so really you have to think, and the clitoris in general isn't just the little bean that you see. I always call that the tip of the iceberg, because once underwater, there's so much more. And a clitoris is about 3 to 4 inches internally, and it looks like a wishbone, and it travels down the sides of the labia internally. So all we see is that little tip there. But when you think about the depth of a vagina, while when lubricated, it can grow about approximately 2 to 4 inches. You're not going to see much depth beyond 6 inches, right? And the idea of it being able to elongate a little more, like 6 to 8 inches, but the reason it will get longer is because it wants to allow the penis and the seminal fluid to be able to get as close to the cervix as possible for procreation. But I think if you ask women, a majority of women would say that they will have more orgasms during oral sex.
Yeah.
Versus
I felt like that's what you were saying.
Yeah.
When I heard 8,000 nerves, I was
I
like,
knew
but a
exactly where
dick
she
can't
was
do
going.
nothing about that.
Yeah.
folks.
No,
Exactly.
no. And the tip of the penis has about 5,000. But we have to remember that we all start as women, right? Chromosomally. And so the penis is really the scrotum and the testicles are to the man what the ovaries are to a woman. So we have very similar parts, and that's why you have a seam up the center of your scrotum, because when your body started to produce hormones at about 8-9 weeks in gestation, your the labia minora actually come together and form that scrotum sac to hold the testicles. So it's very interesting that we don't have more conversations around the idea of a clitoris and a penis being very similar.
So are we really saying that pussy was meant to be eaten more so than fucked?
Absolutely.
And so for me,
This-
Well, or
Disappointing, I
played
gotta be
with or
honest.
massaged.
and so going back to the first question though,
Okay,
And then
4%.
going back to the first question, were you talking about what makes pussy good to me? Hygiene. That's
Okay,
what,
we don't
No, I'm
take it
just
there yet,
telling
but
you.
we getting there. We
It
getting
ain't
there.
it ain't about how wet it is, dog. I'm gonna let you know right now. I mean, that's
All right, so you want to do
that's
it
a
then.
component right there. I'm just letting you know.
So you want to go now?
Cleanliness is godliness, ain't
Yeah,
it?
that is
It is.
important.
It is. That can actually ruin your sex life, and I think every man's been in a situation where they're about to sleep with the woman and the pussy was a little foul.
First of all, every woman been in a situation where she done been with a man, and let's not be too heteronormative.
Yeah.
While I understand that that's the group I'm with,
Yeah.
But women ain't the only ones out here funky.
Are men really coming with the musty
Oh,
balls?
Not only musty balls, but your spunk is funk. Okay, yeah, because we are what we eat. So if you're somebody that consumes a lot of alcohol,
You don't
or
gotta talk to us like
Listen,
that. But I hear you. No, I hear you.
I've actually had women tell me your sperm tastes better than any other man ever. And I'm strong on the fruits and veggies and water.
That's why.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
why you are what you eat.
Hey, listen, you welcome, ladies.
I've
Protein.
seen a lot of purity in mine since I started going to the sauna. I mean, it's almost crystal clear like water.
I thought you had a problem with body fluids. Now you all right with them?
I can see mine. God dang.
Okay.
You know, that's my own personal thing. Don't worry about it. I'm not even gonna go.
Okay. Well, another thing that I believe that makes sex good, and before I go there, let's ask this: can you have good pussy or dick, but bad sex?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and vice versa. Then can you have bad sex and
Wait, what?
or good sex and bad dick?
What is a bad dick?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean,
Short
like,
dick.
I mean, what is it? And I think it's really important that you say this. What is a
Yeah.
bad dick? What is a bad pussy?
Yeah.
And where do those ideals come from?
Well, I think they're different I think it's different for everybody too, right? Like, I mean, because you just talked about how like massaging the pussy and taking care of the pussy and everything like that, that actually leads to a better sensation.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily the penetration. So I think that actually justifies that size doesn't matter. It is all about the foreplay and kind of getting to that place where you have that sensation.
Yeah.
I think we're mixing the ideology when we talk about what's good pussy or a woman looks at what's good dick with the sexual experience
good
itself.
sex
right?
itself.
And so it's not to me necessarily in regards to the actual organs themselves, but really what's the experience that you're having. And so I think that's what we should be
I think
touching.
most women have experienced a man with a big dick that didn't know how to use it.
Big dicks are lazy.
Yeah,
You
that's
can
what I
ask a
heard.
lot of women.
But that goes back to experience, though.
Yeah.
That's the experience that you're
Yeah,
getting.
but I think that is off the strength. Like the idea is off the strength. Well, I have a big penis, so
Well, but what do you mean lazy? Meaning he wants her to ride more. He expects her to he just wants to lay back and be pleased. Or he wants to pound it up. He wants to beat it up.
I mean, I think, but I go. So a couple things that have come up for me in this part. One, sex starts way before the bedroom.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Way before.
That's right.
The brain is the most important
That's right.
part of sex. There is a nerve that runs down the base of the brain to the spine, and it communicates. It's called the pudendal nerve, and it communicates messages between your genitalia and your brain about arousal. And
Can you point that on a diagram somewhere, just for?
I mean, if it was like internal, it would run.
Oh, so
It's on the back of your neck, bro.
It's
I'm just saying,
It's
it's
like
a
runs
good
down your
place.
spine.
Yeah.
It runs down your spine.
Maybe that's why my back is so sensitive.
No, that's not what it is. But imagine if someone could put that Vulcan neck press on a woman like that, and all of a sudden she started feeling a certain way. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know if it works that way.
I don't know. I'm just saying if that would be interesting.
But I do agree that sex is a lot more mental with your brain. And I think that a lot of men jump the gun and
right.
believe that women desire you and they're aroused immediately. And I think that it's important to know that you have to kind of get them to want to desire you. You got to get in their mind first. I always say fuck their mind first because if you just try to jump right to the pussy, and this is where foreplay comes in, like we talked about earlier.
It's the journey, not the destination.
Yeah, you got to take your time with it.
Yeah.
But I also think that you could be really attracted to an individual, and they say one thing, and you be like, and it's a Sahara Desert in my pants now because all of a sudden you wanted to talk about Pizzagate.
Yeah.
You wanted to talk
Say
about,
less, fellas. Say less.
Like,
Yeah.
no, Oprah's not sucking the blood of babies. Like,
Yeah.
why are you a QAnon? Like,
would
who
man-
knew?
Do you have that problem? Is that the same for men? Can a woman say something to turn you off?
I'm sure. I mean, I'm not a
Yeah.
man. I shouldn't answer
Hell
that.
yeah. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think a woman can. I mean, if there's a woman that's literally self-absorbed and all that she's doing is talking about herself, never opened up a avenue to allow.
And she's fine. Big
Communication. I don't
big
give
booty,
a-
big titty, something.
I don't give a fuck how fine she
It
is.
don't happen for me.
Yeah.
That
once,
junk is not gonna work.
Like I'm like a faucet, right? Like, and it's like once I start heading in a certain direction, it's hard to turn it off.
Yeah.
So like if I get to a place where I want to sleep with somebody, like there's not much.
There's
that can turn
nothing
me
they
away
can
from
do.
that.
Yeah.
know
That
what
makes
I'm saying?
sense.
Yeah,
That
really.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
because of
nothing.
men, we're so simple.
Yeah.
The
I
only
ain't that
thing.
I
simple.
usually say like I don't know if I really like somebody until I'm after I'm done sleeping with them,
Yeah.
right? Because I know like this,
So
I go mentally there.
You attach your emotion to how, whether your sexual experience with that person
For
was
me,
successful.
it's like a draw. Like I feel a draw to that person, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna follow this. It usually leads to sleeping with the woman, right? And then
Okay.
it's like, okay, now I'm done sleeping with you. Now I can figure out whether I really like you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So you have to get it out of the way
For me, it's
physically
like,
so
yeah.
that you
Yeah.
can mentally understand whether
Yeah.
you.
I don't
mentally
agree
and
with that.
emotionally. Oh,
I
wow.
think that when I was younger, that was my approach. Get it
Wow.
in fast. But I'm so different now. Now I actually want to take my time. I actually like turning the pussy down a couple times and put her in her place. I need her to know that, I need her to know pussy don't run me. You know what I'm saying? I run pussy. So I like to get to know her, catch that vibe, make her want you, right? Because everyone wants to be desired. I want a flirtatious chemistry. That's important to me. But I'm not jumping in the bed. In fact, the first time she offered, I'm like, I'm not ready. That's what I like to do. That's the way I like to move these days.
That's some game. That's some real grown man game.
I don't want to say it's game.
It's not a game for
it
him
really
anymore.
means something to me. Like I don't get aroused by just big titties, pretty face, fat booty. Like I get aroused by feelings
And vibes,
Yeah, and vibes. Like tell me how you feel about me.
But you know what, guys?
Like, that'll
Jeezy?
turn me on.
Y'all used to make fun of me all the time about, hey, Gent takes so long to go
man,
sleep.
come
Was
on,
dog. Y'all used to
It's
talk
different.
about
You
me
taking
like a
hoes
dog.
on vacation and not fucking them. That's different, bruh. I'm talking about waiting
No,
3
nigga,
days.
That's not what I'm saying, bruh. I'm saying I like to take my time and establish something before I get physical.
just don't
because
fly
I'm
nowhere.
sharing
That's all
a
I'm
piece
saying.
of my spirit is how I feel. Okay.
I hear you. I hear you, bro.
Piece of your
I hear you,
spirit.
Jen.
Dog,
That's what you feel there?
Let me just tell you, we've normalized sex so much that people will have sex before they will kiss
This
somebody.
the hookup culture
That's
we in right now.
stupid.
That's
That
how
makes
things
zero
going now.
sense. Oh my God, kissing is so much more intimate
It
than
is, though.
sex. So guess what? Hey, you can have sex with me, but you can't kiss me. You know how retarded that sounds? Yeah. And let me tell you, I actually have a special needs kids, even though I shouldn't be saying that, so I apologize. So at the end of the day, you know how ridiculous that sounds, right?
Yeah.
It's
It does.
ridiculous.
Well, I think there's something to that, and I think that when you talk about wanting the woman to tell you more about herself and really you want to turn her down, what you're actually doing is playing the power and control game. And oftentimes sexual relationships are rooted in power and control, submissiveness. And that doesn't mean that you're like into BDSM necessarily, but all sexuality is rooted in is like a power dynamic.
Yeah.
And I think that there is something to be said about, because I'm not going to lie, as I sit across from you, I can tell you run a game.
Nah, man,
Like you're not fooling me.
saying,
Okay,
keeping it real
Like
out here.
I mean, while you can say that's what you like, and I believe that's what you like, I believe that is what you like because you get off on the power and control of it, which is not a bad thing. It is
That's
not
fair.
a bad thing.
Michelle, can I ask a question on that?
Yeah.
So, is the issue? So, women typically have the power of sexual selection. So, the fact that he is flipping that on its head.
He knows it makes
Why-
women want him more.
But why is that
That's
a
exactly
control?
what it does.
But now, why is that a control thing?
'Cause he's
now that the
controlling the
man
narrative.
has it now.
No, he's
women always had sexual selection than that power.
But okay. So a couple.
Like a little tussle. It's a little tussle, right? Like, and I think everybody likes. I think what
Yep.
you're saying is everybody likes a little tussle. I'm gonna take it back to Lion King. Remember back in Lion King when they was like going down the hill?
Oh,
and
yeah.
She like pinch you,
Pinch you,
and then
yeah.
pinch again. You know what I'm saying?
I
Like
could sense
we-
the sexual tension.
You know
there.
what I'm saying? Yeah, like we
they was
like
young.
that.
They was ready though. They was ready
You know
though.
what I'm saying? We like that back and forth a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Just to, you know,
I
can
just
see
know that women find it attractive when a man can control his sexual urges. So
That's fair.
when I'm on a date and a chick says, I want to suck you off in a car, and I'm like, we not there yet.
Yeah.
I know now that head is ready whenever I want it.
Yeah.
Like, see, I knew.
You know what I'm saying?
I
know it's
knew.
ready
I could
whenever
see
want.
right through your veil
no,
of.
it's the truth though. It's like we not, I just
But you know
maybe
what?
you're right.
You know what? Geez,
See,
think
I
we-
got your
You're
number.
right.
Yeah. Pull in the card. Pull in the
Thank
card.
you for that, Michelle. I
I
appreciate
mean,
that.
it's
but
not
it's a
bad
real
thing.
good thing though. I don't think it's a bad thing indeed.
And I'm not
think
gonna say it's bad either.
I think we're saying a very similar thing. But what I'm doing, like in my approach, is like I'm acknowledging the fact that like this is all about me
Yeah.
up front, right? Like I know I have an urge. I want to fulfill that urge so I can move on to step B.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Delayed gratification, man.
But
I'm
you're
telling you.
also not controlling the urge, though. That you
No,
know,
not at
So
all.
in other words,
But-
women are running you.
No, women aren't running me.
Say it like you say, Michelle. No, say it like you say.
No,
Women
my
are
urge-
running
Your
you.
urges
Your
are
urges,
yeah,
because
your
you just
urges.
said, "Hold on, I'm gonna pause you right there," because
Yes,
what you
do it
said
to 'em.
was,
Do it to
what
'em.
you said was,
Do it to 'em.
I got to get it out the way before I can even focus on the person
is
that
tough.
it is.
It's
Which
an
is
urge.
tough.
It's a,
And I'm not mad. It's
what I'm saying is-
animalistic.
yeah, it's the animal. Yes, I yield to the animal in me. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo,
Do
I
you
know
find
you just-
yourself
That's shocking.
Do
I
you
mean,
find yourself receptive after you bust a nut? Because I find myself very
Open.
No,
You know, no, I depends, right? But if it's a casual encounter, which this sounds like your initial encounter, I'm more standoffish. I'm not sure I'm gonna tell you my dreams and hopes. You know what I mean? After I bust that nut,
that's
like
exactly it. That's when I start to figure out whether I really like it. Because
Yeah.
like right at that moment, I could be like, ready to go home. Or I could be like, I don't mind staying here a little longer.
I mean,
You know what I'm saying?
when I was younger, I kind of had the notion, because when I was younger, and I was a bit freer,
yes.
I knew the way I looked, and I knew the prowess that I had, and I knew the power that I had.
Yes, hunting.
Yes, hunting. and I definitely wielded that power in a lot of ways.
Right.
And there would be men that I would be like, listen, I kind of feel you. I kind of think you kind of cool. I kind of feel you. Like, and I could tell they was just trying to sleep with me.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, listen, I could fuck you tonight.
Yeah.
But you will never hear from me again. And they'd be like, no, that's not true.
Yeah.
That's not true.
We don't like it when it's flipped.
Let me tell you something. It was
We
true.
just don't believe that women are out there like that. But I know.
I
know
actually
people.
know that there are, and see, that's kind of why I like moving the way that I do. You're not gonna do me like that.
Okay.
You're not gonna do me like that.
Okay.
When you get this dick, it's a treat.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
You know,
I'm just saying. Yeah, by the time you get it, but okay. So let's go back to what makes sex good.
okay.
I believe enthusiasm is a vital component.
Passion is everything, bro.
And passion.
Oh.
Nothing is worse than feeling your girl is having sex out of obligation. Obligatory. I'm fucking that word up. But out of obligatory sex. It's the worst. So you really want that enthusiasm, like, man, doing this, sucking you off is making me so happy right now.
Yeah.
You know
I'm
what I
with
mean?
you.
Can you argue that?
I'm
God
with
bless
you.
America.
Serve me like you love me.
Yeah.
I mean, that's great
Yeah.
until you've been with somebody for 15 years and this motherfucker will not take out the trash.
I'm
Pick
not
up
going to
his
argue with you, but I just hate hearing this narrative because I'm a different type of nigga, and it's hard to understand that I clean, I cook 5 days a week. Take the trash out, the easiest goddamn job. So when I hear women say these things, it's hard for me to relate because
Yeah.
I only know responsibility and getting shit done.
man.
And
So,
I'm not saying that that's you,
you know.
specifically.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
yeah,
saying
yeah.
that there is a
There are
large
situations,
there
yeah.
are a large majority of men out there
Walkless.
who feel like, well, I bring home a check, I keep the lights on, I do X, Y, and Z, and I'll get to it later. I'm tired. I had a long day. And it's like, we oftentimes, I don't think, and again, we're speaking in very heteronormative terms.
Of course.
However, I do think there's something to be said that there is a gender narrative in sexual scripts that guide us, whether you're, non-binary or maybe not non-binary. That's the wrong way to say this. But whether you're a straight or gay or somewhere in between, we have sexual scripts, and they're based on gender norms. And so if somebody is of a more dominant or more masculine role in the relationship, and the other person is maybe more homely or is not, or more like a home taker, there becomes situations that people get lazy in. And it's like, you said you would do this, said that you would do that. And I've spoken a lot
Yeah, I've
to
seen it
women.
too.
And they're like, I mean, I want to have sex with him, but here's the thing. It goes back to the brain, right? Talking about great sex. Women's brains function very differently than men. Men, like, they have blinders on. When they see something they
Compartmentalize
want,
well.
when they see something they want, they leaning on that animalistic.
Yeah.
But women, we use both hemispheres of our brain, and it's very difficult for us to turn that off.
You guys got a lot more serotonin receptors
So
for sure.
right, so if the trash isn't taken out, or we haven't had a conversation about who's going to pick the kids up from school tomorrow, or I have the responsibility of making sure your mom gets to the doctor's office plus pick up the kids, I can't get wet. You can get all the lube in the world, but it's not going to be much. Now, you just said something really dope. You said enthusiastic. And I think that you should add to that enthusiastically consensual.
Yeah.
Because you also said, I don't want you to feel obligated to do this, right?
Right.
If you are having sex out of obligation, and I dial it down to how I've worked with young people, right? In certain situations, it could be almost a very fine line of this obligatory sex looks almost coercive.
Oh, hold on.
No, listen. No. Listen. Hold on.
She said yes.
Hold on. She said yes, but did she? And she may love you, and it may be consensual sex. But am I just having sex with you because I'm tired? I don't want to deal with this tonight. I don't want to get in a fight. Yeah. I don't want to hear you bitch at me. I don't want to go through the emotional toll, the argument,
That's the worst sex.
mental.
You're right.
But and so I'm not.
Every
I
married couple has had that.
Oh, yeah.
type of
We
sex.
have, honey. It's not just married couple.
Yeah,
it's people who have
who's been in relationships
for a
more
long
than
time.
1 year.
And
Right.
you know,
And
he's
it's
just
not
like,
good for the man either because he's on top and he knows you're only doing it. You're going through the motions because you just want to make him happy and get him done. And you want to be done
And
fast.
everybody know that.
I hate that.
Everybody know I don't really want to do this face.
Yeah.
Right. So
tussle.
So it is consensual,
Yeah.
right? But is it enthusiastically consensual? And I think, and let's not play no games.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because there are women out there who end up climbing on top of some dude because he just is like, I don't want to do this. And then they like, I ain't had sex in a while. It's been a long day. I need to bust a nut because I need to sleep. So let's not just, I do not want to say that that's only women
I call
out
them the
here.
nightcap ladies.
No,
Yeah.
I've had
I know.
obligatory sex as well where I wasn't in the mood, but I'm her man and I'm not going to ever, deny my girl dick because I have a
Same here.
reputation.
Yeah.
So, I'll fuck you. But, don't look for a whole lot of kissing and shit.
Yeah,
You getting
yeah.
fucked tonight, girl. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
but here's my question. And again, I want to be clear that we're not talking about non-consensual,
very consensual.
always consensual, but it's like, why aren't we just communicating? Like, you know what, babe? I've had a really kind of rough fucking day.
That's where I'm at in life right now.
So how about we do this? Rain check, and tomorrow, or let's set up a date night on Friday.
We get those two. Don't worry about it.
And
but are
do
you
that.
scheduling now like sex?
You
like,
should. I mean, depending on your work-life balance, you might need to.
That's
Because
super lame to me. I'll never
I don't
accept
think so.
that.
Here's the thing, though. It's not scheduling sex. It's scheduling intimacy.
God, you know what? That's it.
That's
that's
different.
Everything for me.
It doesn't have
everything for me.
It doesn't have to be okay. On this night, we gonna have. And I've worked with couples. And I said, okay, you're busy. You have 2 kids. Understand, for women, it takes a lot longer to get aroused, especially if I can't relax.
Yeah.
So how about you start to schedule a date night where you don't even have to have a fucking plan.
Yeah.
You just know every second and fourth Saturday of the month, you have a babysitter.
You get some gummies.
Maybe, I don't know. Or
Whatever
you don't
fun
have
is
to
the
go out. You could just stay in. You could just and maybe one of those date nights, it's just you don't have any distractions.
Yeah.
And you give yourself an opportunity to appreciate the partner that you have. And some of those nights, maybe you got some real shit to talk about. Maybe you might have to talk about finances and be like, this might not be the most comfortable night. Maybe you might have to have some conversations. And there are a lot of cards out there, like couples cards that you can go through. There
Those
are a lot of
conversational cards.
Yeah. And it's not scheduling sex. It's scheduling intimacy. Now, another thing I like to tell people to put into practice is taking 5 minutes, 7 minutes, work your way up to 10 minutes with your couple, your partner, daily or every other day, to just talk about fantasy. It could be a fantasy vacation.
Like dream together.
Dream together.
Yeah.
Talk about, oh man, I'd love to go to Maldives together. I'd love to,
like that.
take a road trip in an RV
like
without the kids and just,
that's real.
And you
That's
just,
real.
again, but the goal of this is not actual intercourse.
Right.
It's developing deeper levels of intimacy, because when you can do that and you can be on the same page mentally
Dream
with
together.
somebody,
Yeah.
the sex is going to be twice as good.
Well, and that goes back to what I was saying from the beginning. It's sort of that connection in the eyes where you're kind of feeling something a little deeper.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and then the physical thing that happens, that just happens. But
That's
that
low-hanging
sort of
fruit.
feels like transactional. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, but the deeper part of it is that connection.
And I also say, because, I just want to give all the tips that I can, because I'm, again, I know how old I am. I know how old the rest of us are averaging. And I know that this is when things become rough in relationships.
Yeah.
You've been with somebody for a long time. You may have kids. You're in a rut. You're just kind of moving forward. Another thing, when people come to me and they say, "Oh, we're kind of having sex," I say, choose celibacy for a little bit.
You talking crazy?
Yeah.
Wait, just hear me out. Just hear me out.
That's how niggas get cheated on.
I feel, you know,
I'm not saying.
That's how women get cheated on.
Hold on,
seriously.
hold
that's
on.
not, I
hold
mean, women
Go
will
ahead.
cheat
I'm gonna let
too.
you finish. I just gotta let
I
you
know.
know.
Just walk with me. Walk with me.
All right, let's
Okay,
go.
come on. I'll take you to the promised land, brother.
Okay,
Trust me.
okay.
Okay. So here's what I want you to think about. I'm not saying like celibacy for 6 months.
Yeah.
I'm not saying celibacy for even a month, maybe. I'm saying like a lot of. I mean, in some couples, well, they just celibate because they're not
Exactly.
taking the time, right?
Exactly.
But when you choose celibacy and you say, you know what, we're gonna take a break. All of a sudden, you start getting real horny
about
and
it.
you become more attracted
about
to
it.
your partner. And I also didn't say you needed to abstain from masturbation.
Yeah.
And so sometimes I'll tell couples, mutually masturbate in the same bed, but don't touch each other.
Yeah.
Because what that's going to do is it's going to create this heat, this kind of, I can't touch them.
Burning
It's
desire.
yes, and you have
yeah.
to, and this is what has been depleted, and desire can be depleted because we have to remember that things can impact our drive, our sex drive, right? Stress, okay, which is ironic because having sex relieves stress.
I'm sure it does mine.
Financial issues, right? Not doing good at the job, depression, hormonal issues, not eating properly. When you're stressed, your cortisol goes up. That can impact your hormones, right? And so we have to remember that there are things that will impact our libidos at different times, at different instances. And also when you get to a certain age, again, I have no problem saying like, I got to schedule my mammogram this year, right? Like I'm in my 40s. Like sex looks different.
Yeah, it does.
Sex looks different. It's not always going to be hot and passionate. And as you get older, you have to find other ways to fulfill each other sexually. So that's why I like this idea of like, okay, for 1 week, we're not going to touch each other. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to touch myself in the bed next to you. And then you see that it really helps to re-spark that. But I think
That
it's not
soul
just,
connection.
it's not like, and I don't want you to, well, I can't, you can watch porn together, but I do think it's important for people, if you're masturbating a lot, please try to limit the porn because that can actually change the gray matter in the brain.
I don't masturbate much anymore, and this is big news because, I used to get it in, but there's no way I'm masturbating without porn. There's no way. I don't.
You don't have.
Maybe I don't possess the mental capacity.
Okay,
to
I was
just
like, you don't have
think of
enough
thoughts.
sexual experiences, which I
It's-
heard of too before we started this, that you can't go back into.
Do, but I'm a visual creature.
And men
I
are
get very
naturally
turned
visual.
on by what I see.
Yeah, I think that's different. Men are actual visual creatures, and it's more in the moment, where a woman can probably pull from a past experience, recreate it, and create that fantasy and do something with that. Men, we're not like it's a little bit more tangible for us.
I may
That makes
be more
sense, too.
turned on.
It's just a matter of how you prioritize your senses, right? And women typically, like when you think about the traditional labeling of women, like they're drawn
Fantasy.
to flowers, right? Things that they smell,
Not
things,
you, because
women in general, right? Like you'd say, okay, they're drawn to flowers because there's the smell, there's the combination of the look, the feel, and everything. Where guys, to your point, we tend to prioritize more like what we see.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then everything else tends to be like a distant second, third, fourth, fifth.
What I see may matter more than what I feel sometimes.
Yeah.
Like the way you touch me, what I see turns me on a lot more.
Okay, that's interesting. Again, really gives context to the idea that men and women's brains work differently.
no, it really does.
Undoubtedly.
But I do think there's a couple things here that I'd love to unpack. The idea of looking at masturbation as a practice and a meditation practice.
Meditation. Explain how you utilize it for meditation from an edging standpoint.
I think you could do that, but what I'm actually talking about is the actual power in orgasm and understanding and being in tune with like your chakras.
Yeah.
And how energy and your chi flows through your body, right? I did like a whole class on meditative masturbation to manifest, and this idea of creating a ritualistic practice. So like you just kind of said, the scent, the look, like, if your room is not well put together, it's a little harder to get off. But I guided people, not actually while they were masturbating, but you
I
know,
was
it's,
going to ask that question next, actually, so I'm glad you cleared that
Pretty
up.
interesting.
I was going to take that class. Sign me up.
so just the classes would talk about how do you set up a ritualistic practice, and you start with mood lighting, and you start with making sure the room is
Check.
clean, showering, putting on your favorite lotion, maybe even putting on your favorite cologne or perfume, lighting a candle.
Michelle, you're like pretty much like illustrating what we do when our girl used to go to the club and we had the house to ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Like these are the things that
I actually like to masturbate when everyone's at home and I can potentially get caught. There's something
But
about the
again, you're a voyeur. You mentioned you were a voyeur, so that idea of getting
and then
caught
when I
is
hear something, I like to stop
like a little deer.
and then I keep fucking going. Boy, I love that shit. I love that shit. I'm just saying. I'm sorry if I took us off topic, but
No, but I
share
felt
that.
it though, dog. I felt it.
All right. So another thing that makes sex good is confidence. I believe that if a man is confident, a woman is more turned on. Just as if a woman is confident in the bedroom, it's far more attractive to us as well. Would you all
I
agree with
believe
that?
Yeah, that's
well, I think that goes that confidence, masturbation, and can actually build confidence. We know that is a thing.
I never thought about it like that.
When I've worked with women who have maybe some self-esteem issues or aren't able to orgasm, I often advise start dancing for yourself in the mirror.
That's sexy. Yeah.
I want you to and I want to recognize I know what I look like, right? I recognize that there is a privilege in my body
That's a good
type
point.
and how I look. But that doesn't mean I don't have my own insecurities.
Yeah.
And so I can relate to that. And I think that I try to, because again, I have my own insecurities, but I try to take moments to look at my body undressed in the mirror and identify what I really like. And the more you practice that, the more you start to love your curves, your hips, your lips, and all the things that Maya Angelou talked about was so fierce about being a woman. And then once you can start to really tap into that, your partners will.
Can I ask
they
you a
will.
question
They will
on
pick
that?
that up. Yeah.
Is that more sustainable than your partner giving you words of affirmation to build that same self-esteem? Or is this self-aha moment, you
Should
getting
come from
comfortable
within.
with yourself, is more sustainable and long-lasting or have a longer impact for you?
When you start to believe the compliments in situations like that, you inevitably have to believe when they don't say it, they don't feel that way anymore.
Yeah, you had to say it like that.
No, she's right though.
she's
She's right there.
Because what she's talking about
right.
too is there's different relationships, right?
Yeah,
There's
no,
the
yeah, there
relationship
is.
that you have with yourself, and then there's a relationship that you have with your community.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
and
agreed.
what she's talking about is that very intimate relationship with self. I started actually. You're talking about something real here because I started doing this years ago. Where at the end of each day, what I'll do is I stand there and look at myself in the mirror, butt naked.
Power
Okay.
poses.
You know what
You
I'm
be
saying?
sit. You be with the hands on the hips, like
Hey.
power pose.
You're right. I took a couple pictures
I'm
too.
like, look, that's the most vulnerable I could be.
Walk
Yeah,
through
absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And so if I
Walk
could
through
be
it.
honest with that nigga,
Okay.
I could be honest with
What you say
anybody.
to him?
You know,
So you stand in the
That's
mirror.
personal, bro.
I
Stay
mean,
out of
You
shit.
ain't- No, I just want to know.
I stand and tell that nigga he ain't shit sometimes. You know, he
All
fucked
the
up some
time.
shit.
I
You
know
what
it
I'm saying?
all the time. I tell
You know what I'm saying?
somebody got to tell me.
But you know what I'm saying? But then I tell myself I'm just broken like everybody else.
Yep.
You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? And
I
I ain't
love
more
that.
broken than anybody else.
Yep.
That's what I'm
that.
You know
talking
what I'm
about,
saying? And I
PC.
know that
I mean,
I
he
know I'm
really in
good.
touch.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
I'm gonna hug you later on.
And
But
then,
the-
you know
you
what
know-
I'm saying? No, for real. And look, most of the tattoos I got on my body speak to that.
Yeah.
You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Because after I'm done beating the shit out of myself, I need to pull myself back up, out.
And you look
You know
to
what I'm
him.
saying?
Yeah,
Right.
And I don't beat the
understand
shit
that.
out of myself to make myself feel bad. I beat the
Figuratively.
shit out of myself to chisel myself.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
see
To
you.
strengthen
that.
myself. And for me, that positions me to be able to go out into the world, a world that I know will criticize me.
Yep.
It allows me to go out into that world and feel more comfortable, you know, with a few haters.
Hey, I
Yeah,
love it.
I mean, I again, I am pretty transparent about first and foremost, the first relationship starts with self, and if that's fucked up, every other relationship's gonna be fucked up.
Agreed.
So I am a firm believer in being transparent in the fact that I struggle with self-esteem.
Yeah.
I have imposter syndrome, and I struggle with it. And most people look at me and are like, "I would never know. I would never," and I have people in my life who've known me for years, and we also have to accept that some of these self-esteem issues are rooted in childhood trauma.
Yeah.
Always is.
That we have never actually taken the time to peel back layers. And sexual trauma is really, really prevalent. And that doesn't necessarily mean physical trauma. It doesn't, it's not necessarily an assault or whatever. Okay, I'll tell you this story. I don't mind telling the story. So when I was in 8th grade, I grew up in Indiana. When I was in 8th grade, we had like the sleepover, and you be playing dumbass dare shit, 7 minutes in heaven and whatever.
That's how you get to rub on that booty.
Yeah, and I remember, and I am a black woman. I'm biracial, but I identify as a black woman. That doesn't mean I'm transracial. No, I'm a black woman. Okay, and there were not many women that looked like me where I grew up, and so we were at this thing, and somebody was like, "Yeah." Just flash, like my dare was like to like flash somebody, right? It was like me and another girl had to do that. My body does not look like other women's bodies because I am brown skin. And they laughed at me and it stayed with me because my senior year of high school, in an English class, like the very end of school, this is so terrible. Somebody was like, "Oh, Michelle, remember that nickname we had for you?" They called me chocolate pepperonis.
Oh, man.
So I have always been very self-conscious of
crazy.
my breasts.
Kids are the worst.
But I'm saying all that to say that it's traumas, sexual traumas like that can build upon your self-esteem. And it's liberating to kind of tell that story because
I could tell that you literally walked that through.
Oh my! And I had to heal because I've caught myself in my teens and in my early 20s not taking my bra off during intercourse or holding on to my breast during intercourse.
I hate when women do that.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate
But you have to remember that there's a possibility. And then another
I've
thing
never
is,
thought about the why as much as I'm like, she tripping.
If you developed breasts earlier or faster than other young women, or something that does happen during puberty, sometimes like I had one breast that was like bigger than the other breast.
That's normal,
right?
normal.
And like even when my vulva and my labia, it's like, I had one labia that was like a little Nemo arm when I was coming up. And again,
God dang.
totally normal. It's totally normal because you're going through puberty and nobody is like symmetrical, right? But as a teenager, it fucked me up clearly because I'm now damn 40 and I still remember that.
I made it through chocolate pepperoni, but that one was a little too much, right?
I was always like, oh my gosh. And I say this and I laugh about it now because remember, I've worked with adolescent youth. I worked with adolescent youth in sexual health for like 10 years. And I would get these kinds of questions from young people like, Miss Michelle, something's wrong with me. And I'm like, no, nothing's wrong with you.
Just keep swimming.
Yeah, just keep swimming, honey. Exactly. And it's the idea that we don't teach sex ed in schools enough. Parents don't normalize these conversations. So we're traumatizing each other and we're allowing for traumas to continue to take place on younger generations. Because we as parents, we as trusted, knowledgeable adults, as caretakers, we are not willing to face the trauma that we experienced, whether it was physical, because now we're adding even more layers, right? But so we're not providing younger people with the information that they need to avoid these traumas. And let's be real, in communities of color, we are really, really bad at it.
We're the worst at it, probably.
We don't talk.
Especially the island folks, boy, they just don't want you to get pregnant, so they ain't gonna have no conversation about it.
And then you always get somebody pregnant. So that's the beauty.
I mean, another experience I had, I almost got beat up by a parent at a place I was working. Jesus. And I remember we had helped in New York. You have the right, minors have a right to confidentiality at the age of 13 and older. There are other states that are
that's
like
that.
that.
Bullshit, but go ahead.
I'd love to talk to you about
13?
that. Well, I'm
I don't
confused.
believe that. You're saying that they have the right to confidentiality, meaning their parents can't be included in the information that they're sharing with the doctor.
If
No.
they decide to move that way?
Yes.
I don't know if I agree with
A
that.
lot, a lot of the basis needs to be like, okay, what's your relationship with that child? Because she can truly just say, I want my dad or I want my mom.
You
I think
can't.
13 is too young, but we can disagree on that.
No, but here's the reason why. It's because of some parents who are hyper conservative, and it can put a child in harm.
Yeah.
More harm than if a trusted, knowledgeable, educated person who has done this, or a doctor,
Yeah.
can say, okay, let's talk about this.
Right.
And a lot of people think that if you teach a young person about sex education, they're going to have sex. It's actually
It's usually the opposite. Actually.
right.
Yeah, I agree.
So in this space, I had a young woman who had taken 6 morning after pills in the matter of a month.
God damn.
Okay, that is not good. The amount of hormones is really not good. And so we
How could she afford that and not a condom? But go ahead.
because she was dating somebody that was very old.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And that's not good either. And she was about 16, but she wasn't 13. I want to be clear. So we worked with her, counselors. We finally got her to go to the clinic.
Yeah.
It took a lot. She got to the clinic. She got on an IUD, but IUDs have some side effects because your body has to get used to the device in the uterus. So she told someone that she was having cramps. All these things are totally normal. That person took it upon themselves to notify the parent. The parent came up to where we were, and she Naomi Campbelled me. Security had to hold her back, and then she threw a cell phone at me, and she said, bitch, you take her back to the clinic and get it taken out.
Wow.
So this is why there are some states where young people really need access to care.
I can see that.
And it was funny because when we took her back to the clinic, the doctor looked at her and said, well, we don't have to take it out. Nobody needs to know. This is your body, your business. She's 16 years old, right? And she was like, you don't know my mom. She's crazy. Now, I could visibly tell that her mother had her at 16.
Yeah.
And the reason we were trying to get her to use what we call LARC, long-acting reversible contraceptive, that's what implant or an IUD is because she was dating somebody probably 8 years older than her. And
I hate that. That happens so frequently that high schoolers, 16-year-olds are dating 24 or 25. I used to always hate that in high school. You know, the old guys come through and swap up the chicks. I didn't understand that.
I mean, it's power and control.
Yeah.
And the thing he was a drug dealer.
Yeah.
So that's where she was getting the money. And we suspected that she was in an abusive relationship. But if we can keep her from getting pregnant and making sure she got an HIV test, she got an STD test, we got the IUD in her, that's the first step. Now we continue to work with that student to get them the mental health care that they need to pull them out of an unhealthy situation, because abuse in abusive relationships are very, very complex.
Yeah.
And having to walk it back. And after seeing what I saw by almost being jumped by her mother, it made it very clear that there is a long history of abuse and trauma here. And that was just like, honey, that was light work. That was a Tuesday at my job at the time. So I think that I'm super grateful that I'm here and we're talking about buns and hot dogs or something.
Weird ass topic
And
Don't hate on it. I love it.
I appreciate that we've been able to have a fluid conversation that has taken us from what's good sex in adults and gotten to a space with like, what does equity look like and how do we build relationship and what are some of the challenges that we've seen or at least for me in my profession, I've seen young people exposed to. So I feel like we've gone like up and then down and then up and then down. So hit me with another sexy question.
I know, right? We need to get there. Sexual chemistry and compatibility. That definitely makes sex good. I think, how often have you been with someone and the way they do it just doesn't work for you? You know, a lot of women these days like to be choked, but there are a lot of men that have an issue choking a woman.
Yeah, like
They feel uncomfortable, they're scared. And I had a homegirl call me the other day and was like, my man won't choke me. And I put his hand there and I made him squeeze and I told him it's okay, but he just doesn't have the balls to choke me. You know what I mean? So I think sexual compatibility is important because you meet the right one, he'll choke the shit out of you, girl.
But my thing is this. Hold on. I mean, I love that, choke me, spank me, pull my hair, especially consensually.
Yeah.
But again, not to be like, but again, is it you put your hand on my neck and then say, choke me in the moment of us having intercourse? Because that can be very jarring for a person, right? We don't have conversations about sex before sex.
I think you do, though.
That's right.
I think you do, and that's where you go wrong. And I do think sexual compatibility, some things are just good. Like, oh, she likes to kiss while we're having sex. A lot of people don't always like to. So there are simpler things, but when it comes to the more complex things like choking, you have to talk about that.
Well, I
first.
think that's what
Can't pull
Michelle's
that
saying.
move
Is
out.
like we don't do a good job of talking about these kinds of things, right?
I
And
love
so
talking about sex. That's
Clearly.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing.
Most people don't.
second date. We getting down into everything you like.
But see, here's my thing: is that compatibility can grow. It very much. It's not. It's
It
not
can.
a. It's not a full stop. We don't have chemistry. We're not gonna have chemistry.
Right.
It's about becoming comfortable with the person. It's about continuing to have those conversations, and leading up to a space. Because
That's right.
again, we don't talk about the
But I
trauma
don't,
we've
I don't think
experienced.
that every man has or every woman has that learning agility. Some people are just not natural learners. I'm going to be honest with you. They don't take the time to think about, oh my gosh, this is where she moaned. I explored here. I had this
Attentiveness.
conversation here. You know what I'm saying? All these different nuances, they're not learning, adapting, and growing because that's not a natural competency for some people.
You should stop fucking them.
Okay, that's
Exactly,
right.
because
That, like-
compatibility doesn't always grow. I
Yeah,
will
that's what I'm saying,
never
yeah.
eat ass. There's no many amount of discussions we can have that's gonna make me eat ass.
Me too.
Unless you're a lie, but unless there's one day that comes in for I don't know what could come over. It had to be the Lord come down and told me to eat this booty because I don't know what it would take. I don't think that can grow. So I do agree with you that there are conversations you can have. There are things that time can go by and compatibility can grow, but it doesn't work
But
in every
you
instance.
could land on somebody that like to get their booty eaten,
Yeah.
right? And then they're gonna ask you to do it.
and we not doing it.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
Point of contention for
It's
you.
possible to be fine, but it's also possible for you to say, "Dang, you know what? If I care about her enough,
No, I don't care
Do
about
you
it.
eat pussy from behind though?
Yeah, I put my nose in it a little bit.
See, now I'm confused.
Yeah.
Now I'm
Listen,
confused.
eating the booty versus having
with
to
you. I would never-
my nose tickle the booty hole like that's not the same. I'm not
You're
not
not-
spreading
but
cheeks and sticking tongues in assholes. And no, I'm not. I'm not tapping that shit up. So I don't agree. And if I'm to be 100% honest with you, when I'm in full nasty mode, I'm on the Henny. I'll eat the pussy from behind, but I'd rather eat it from the front.
I mean, that's
I'd
fair.
rather her
I
sit
just-
on my face. You know what I
mean,
mean?
that's-
I'd rather not have the asshole in my face if I can avoid it.
I mean,
I'm with you.
that's
You know?
fair, and I think that it's totally okay because I also think that in heteronormative relationships, we make assumptions that men won't say no to anything.
Yeah.
And I think that is something we have to move beyond.
We getting raped out here.
Say that again.
I
You-
mean,
we make
unfortunately,
assumptions.
the way you say it, you sound a little jokey, but you're not joking.
I'm not.
and I know you're not joking.
I had my ass licked the first time, and I said the first because it happened again. I know that sounds bad, but the first time she ain't asked me though. She ain't asked
And
me,
that's
and I felt
non-consensual.
violated. I didn't
Ew.
feel right, and
Was your asshole clean though?
I mean, I keep a clean ass because
Is
I'm
there
just.
hair on it?
I'm not shaving my ass. I'm not
Well, then there
waxing
wa-
my asshole.
Well, then
so
there was little poopy
Yeah.
turd drots in there.
no, I use. Okay, since we're gonna go all the way there, I'll take it with you. I use wet wipes every time I wipe.
You know what? I did not. This is the craziest
Thoroughly.
thing. Hold on. This is the craziest thing. I was probably 36 years old before I realized that men actually, well, like one of my best friends is a man. And I was like, do you use wet wipes?
Oh, absolutely.
For the last decade.
Hold on. And then he said, yes. And
yeah.
if there is no wet wipe available, I will put water on the paper
Exactly.
towel.
Actually,
I
we'll
travel
put
with
soap
wet
too, a
wipes.
little soap
And
on
I
it too,
said,
yeah.
I said, well, wait, hold on, wait, those disintegrate. And he was like, well, I'm just gonna grab some
You gotta
more,
work harder.
and we
That's
gonna,
all.
Yeah, we just
you
gotta
know,
work
we
harder.
gonna do that. But that's I thought
She
that
got me
was
fresh
funny.
out the shower though, just to finish that story off. She got me fresh out the shower, but
Fresh target.
my
Did
point
you?
of
Now,
matter is she
but
got
here's
the
my
ass.
question:
Fresh target.
did you say something afterwards?
Yeah, I told her you're not gonna be eating my ass all week. I said, I don't know who you mess with, but real niggas over here, like,
You're just gonna lick my ass.
you're gonna discuss with me before. Would I have let you? Certainly, because I firmly believe you gotta let a woman be the host she want to be, meaning let that inner
Yep,
freak out.
yep.
So whenever it comes to that, I really encourage that, and that's why a lot of women I've never had an issue with sex and women because I kind of encourage that level of comfort. But no, you got to talk to me about something like that because that's on me. That's not on you.
So there's a couple things I want to tease out of this. So first and foremost, I do deeply appreciate you saying something. I can see your masculinity, your robust masculinity in your
Appreciate that.
conversation. I would have loved for you to be like, yo, that made me feel uncomfortable because I felt vulnerable.
Yeah.
I think you could have taken it. You're a little bit of a
You said
jokester,
it though.
though.
No. You said it though. It definitely made me feel vulnerable, if not exposed. You know.
Okay, and that is.
She
and,
spread my legs. She didn't have to do it like that.
yeah.
She
That's
had- she-
non-consensual.
She treated me like a hoe, man.
Yeah,
She
I
spread
see.
them shits wide.
She ate at the Y.
Were
I
you on
understand.
your back?
Yeah, I was on my back, and she really dug in. Like
see?
I couldn't see her head or nothing. And I have a flat
I mean, we are.
stomach.
Hold on, I want to be
she
clear.
really wanted that ass. That
I
night.
really want to be clear. We'll make sure to put a trigger warning on this
I
conversation.
said pineapple. She never stopped.
I mean, I think
I didn't want to slap her because I don't believe in domestic violence. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Again,
but use the safe
again.
word too.
Pineapples, bro.
pineapple's
Universal
a little bit,
safe word.
Here's the problem with that. It's too many syllables.
Yeah, you're right, but I
You
like
need
the word.
Yeah, I do too. But so
And they
here's
taste
here's the thing. I think again we'll make sure we put a trigger warning on this because I don't want to laugh at your negative experience.
Oh, no,
I
no,
think we
I
and I
don't take
see
life
and it's
serious.
and it's easy to use comedy.
It makes it easily digestible. When you
Totally,
laugh about it. Yep.
totally. And I think that's fine. But I think that this is a conversation that's like, you know, we should be having more conversations around the experience of men and violation because we don't enough. And I think when we don't have those conversations, we then leave an open door to a lack of understanding the other way around.
Yeah, fair enough.
And that is not trying to victim blame or absolve any type of predator. It's just a nugget of thought to get people to think about. And, you know, men don't be saying shit and women don't be saying shit when people do shit that's violent. But one time, because I have a breast problem, remember I have an issue with my breast, this dude kept wanting to lick my breasts.
Yeah.
And I kept saying, I don't really like this. I don't really like this. And he was like, I can do what I want. And I said, stop right now.
Yeah.
What we not gonna do?
Chopped him in the motherfucking neck, didn't you?
Man, so you
that-
didn't like your titties up.
Remember,
I
she
mean,
has a.
remember the
self-
childhood
Yeah, that's
trauma.
true, that's true.
But the fact that that person felt like they could, and then when I was like, please, I don't like it when you do this, and we're in the act of,
He
he was like,
completely
I
ignored
think
it.
what it is
Yes.
whenever you're having sex with someone, if they let you inside of them, you'd like to imagine they'd let you do this, they'd let you do that.
You'd like to
So
imagine.
It's
All
hard
that's
to imagine
assumptions.
for a
Those are all
man to say,
assumptions.
you let me inside of you and I can't suck your titties.
no,
Like,
just like
you know what I
you
mean?
go
So-
inside of a woman,
Yeah.
but she can't eat your ass.
But let me ask
I
you.
mean, I don't know if we're gonna
let's-
equate
let's
it to be the
unpack that
same,
a little bit.
but,
Like,
you know.
It is
like,
terrible.
what if he would have said to you after, you know, like that really killed my vibe that I couldn't.
Oh
you
no,
know,
I
say
killed the vibe for it
Yeah.
because when I said I don't want that, and you
You
said
just gotta respect it.
I can do whatever I want, immediately no.
That should have been unpacked before
got
the
you, I
sexual
got you.
encounter. In my opinion, sucking titties is so norm that, and I'm not, you know, your issues, your feelings are legit. So because they are, you have to have that conversation before. To me,
But it didn't
But
matter.
I
If she
always-
said no, she said no.
But-
bro.
I'm not
Whenever it
saying
comes
she
up,
was
it
wrong
comes
for
No,
that.
no,
I'm
no.
saying, you know,
But I will give you this caveat. I identify as a rape thriver, not a survivor. I don't like the term survivor. I've experienced sexual assault. Like, you know, in the black community, it's like 1 in 4 black women in their lifetime will experience sexual assault, right? So I always disclose before I have intercourse with a partner, hey, just a heads up, I have some sexual trauma in my past. So, you know, if there,
Yeah.
I need to let you know that there are some things that could trigger me. And
Yeah.
I'm not trying to scare you. I just want to give you a level playing field.
that scares every man though.
Yeah.
No, but I think that's fair because that means that there could be a moment where you need that safe word. There could be those moments where you need to use that safe word and say stop, and it's all good. You stop.
But here's the thing. I do enjoy getting wild.
Of course.
Right? But for me to feel safe, and I think this is with a lot of women, and you just brought this up. You said you want everybody to be a hoe.
Yeah.
Great. I
My
love
hoe,
it.
my hoe, but yeah.
I love it. You know, more power to you. But really to be able to do that for some people, for me, it's just saying, hey, you know, I need to let you know this, but
Yeah.
I'll let you know if
and
I
Michelle,
can't do something.
I feel
Got
the
it.
reason
That-
why
that makes sense.
right.
That's fair.
And I could be taking a stab in the dark, but I feel like the reason why some women don't want to disclaim these things, although they really, really want to, is for the same reason you just explained. They feel like it's a mood killer, and if they really like somebody, they're not going to take that moment to bring it up. And so
Was this discussed right before you had sex or at
No.
dinner?
That's-
No,
Yeah,
this
okay.
was like when I say before, I'm not saying like as I'm taking my panties
okay,
off
yeah.
and clapping
No,
my
I'm just
booty
no, I'm
cheeks.
just saying as in general. Like some people are afraid of that conversation, and it's a maturity issue. I think for the other person, that's all it is.
I actually want to talk about that moment, like sort of after the moment you said, stop, right? Like, and sort of like, let's say it's a couple hours later, you're at the dinner table or something. How does the man kind of approach that conversation with you in a way to kind of keep the intimacy?
I mean, that person did a very good job, right? And that
I'm asking, like, what would be the optimal response to you?
the person, when I said stop, they were like, okay, no problem. And then they just offered to hold me.
Yeah.
And
That was a good move. Good move.
Yeah. He was a great lover,
move.
right? And he was an incredible lover.
That was so. I mean, clap it up for him. That was so hard. And that. Oh, okay. I've been there before.
But see, I think after intercourse, we should be doing aftercare. And in that moment, yes, clearly something triggered me. And then that person took the time
To understand it.
to be mature and to provide the aftercare that was needed.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point in my career, you can watch almost all of my stuff and you'll know I am somebody who has experienced sexual trauma. But what we have to remember is that if statistics are telling us 1 in 4 black women across the lifespan and 1 in 5 and 1 in 53. So 1 in 5 women, 1 in 53 boys will be sexually assaulted before the age of 18. That is most of us. So we have to break the fourth wall of this fear of this conversation. And it shouldn't be as you ready to clap your booty cheeks. It should be somewhere. And if you are afraid to tell the person that you really, really, really like, you need to take your ass back to that mirror.
Yeah.
And build yourself up a little bit more.
I agree. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You cannot set the basis of any type of relationship, whether it's a hookup or anything. You got to keep it going.
Agreed.
Okay. So the next thing I have is physical attraction. Now, earlier you had mentioned stress, how stress can ruin your sexual desire, and I believe negative thoughts ruin sex. Period. And one of those negative thoughts that come to mind is worrying about how you look naked. And, I've had women, as we were in a relationship, they put on weight. And one of their main things was, I don't love how I look and I worry how you see me now. You know what I mean? Now that I'm naked. So I really feel like physical attraction can make the sex much better, but it can also ruin it. You know what I mean? So how do y'all feel about physical attraction and the importance of it? Because I know I mentioned to you earlier, I'm a visual creature. I definitely want to see something that looks good, but I know a lot of women are sapiosexuals and, their man can put on 100 pounds and they won't care because they're in love and attracted to his mind. You know what I mean? So does physical attraction play a big part for you?
In the sexual experience,
in the sexual experience?
For me, it's the balance,
I've probably slept with ugly people.
Yeah. That's real right there.
But so do you prioritize the intellectual connection?
I do.
So you can see past your initial encounter before you know anything about them. You can say, hey, I don't know you yet. You ugly as shit, but I'm going to give you a chance to.
Oh, no.
where does
I
that-
was saying, because the way you preface this was, somebody gained a couple pounds or you got a bad haircut.
Okay, so you're saying
or-
after you're already with it, not a bad haircut. But yeah.
I once dated a guy and gave him a haircut, and then I saw it later, like, I fucked you
Damn,
up.
you fucked him up, bitch. Why did he even let you? That's a whole nother story.
I don't know.
That's your fault.
But even initially, when you're meeting men back, when you're single or what have you, can an unattractive man approach you? Does he have a chance, or is physical attraction,
Well,
major?
unfortunately, we always have been, just like we're animals.
Yeah, we
Think
are.
about a peacock, a male peacock, okay? What does he have? These beautiful
Brightest
feathers.
feathers, man. Yep.
To attract. And you see this in nature all the time. Like, look at a lion with all that beautiful tresses, okay? So I think that this is a natural occurrence. But I also think that there are a lot of attractive men out there who think they are God's gift.
Yeah.
And they think they add so much value. They think they have, I got a good job. I'm good looking. But you really have to ask yourself, if you are that man, what value do you have?
Yeah.
What exactly are you doing to better yourself or make yourself more interesting for me to want to engage with you? Yeah. Like, just because you have a big dick and you're attractive and you got money in the bank, you could be boring as shit.
Those things actually mean nothing to women. And I figured this out a long time ago. And a hoe asked me, she was like, "What do you think you bring to her?" And I told her, I say, "It's my vibe. I mean, nothing's gonna get better than my vibe." You know what I mean? And I know. And she said, "You hit it spot on. A vibe will keep you around a lot longer than your looks, than your dick, than your head game. Since you're out here eating pussy and shit all day, you know what I mean? Anything. Your vibe. It has to be that connection, mentally stimulating her, challenging her, making her desire you and want you. I'm telling you, that fuck your mind shit."
But you also have to understand the human sexual response cycle. Like this is like Kinsey. So you have the arousal phase. Yeah. That is usually sparked by a visual image. You just said, I'm a man, I use porn.
Yeah.
So you have like the arousal stage, and or there's like arousal. I'm probably not getting this right. And then there's like arousal and
desire is one.
It's desire, arousal, and then
orgasm.
Plateau, and then orgasm. Yeah. And for men, you have to go through the refractor period.
Yeah.
So first it's desire, and desire is usually kicked off by seeing something attractive or hearing someone's voice or something, right? Maybe even a cologne, right? A scent. Somebody can walk by and be like, "Oh, golly," you know.
Something plays to one of the five senses.
Yeah. Something plays to one of the five senses, and then you get to like this arousal space, and then you get to the plateau, and then here's the thing. If you are not somebody who can like, I hate it when men are like, I can just keep going. I can keep going after I ejaculate. It's like, sure, but you still have a refractor period. It might not be as long, but the older you get, the longer that goes. And, the older you get.
I'll talk to you tomorrow.
I'm not there yet, but I'm sure that day is coming.
No, I'll talk to you tomorrow.
I mean, but that's totally normal.
Yeah.
For some men, it's like 24 hours. You just don't have it.
It may not be 24 hours, but I need a snack. And a good series.
I hope if you getting a snack, you getting your partner one too.
I need 5
I'm
to
like
10
one
minutes.
of the most thoughtful people.
I need 5 to 10 minutes and a titty in my face, and I should be
Oh, it
able
don't
to
take
go.
you much, do you? Okay.
Yeah, I should be able to.
Adult breastfeeding fetish, very interesting.
Oh, how'd you know I like that porn,
Me
girl?
too. Hey, Charlie.
When she feeding her titty to the other girl, that shit get me. And the lactation, I like when the titties dripping with milk.
Have you ever been in one of those?
When I was fucking my wife and her titties was when she was pregnant with my kids and shit. Oh, that shit was, oh my God, nigga. I was
actually when
sucking
women
that milk out, nigga. It was life, nigga.
When women are
You let it spray all
lactating,
over your face and all that?
when she orgasms, that will happen. When women orgasm and they're lactating, it can just be.
I was squeezing them titties. That I was, girl. You
dog,
about to
yeah,
get me
listen,
going right now.
I didn't even know it was like that.
No, that's what it was back then. That's what it was back then.
That's beautiful. Because usually that's when women, speaking of, you ask about attraction and body type. Mm-hmm. Usually post-pregnancy is when women have a lot of trouble and couples struggle really bad because the body has changed so dramatically. Yeah. So, again, I'm being of my age, I've had a lot of friends who've had babies, and I've had them ask me, like, what do we do? And I was like, you got to have a conversation before this little motherfucker gets here. Yeah. Okay? Because you're not going to want no penis around that vagina for a while. So you better get your mouth ready, your hands ready. You better start talking about some type of, like a surrogate or somebody that, like, are you open to... Actually, probably not opening the relationship right after baby because the hormones is a little crazy.
You talking about like a substitute player? I mean,
outsourcing the job.
Outsourcing the job. Yeah, you could do that. Maybe.
Well, tell me more.
I mean, it depends on.
You're so full of shit. You wouldn't even be able to do it.
I wouldn't, but I find
you
it
wouldn't even be able
interesting.
to do it.
Yeah,
You're not that guy.
I mean, most people can't, and I would not advise it unless you are a very, very like
my name was Eric Benet or something.
Like, because the idea,
got that issue.
Because what's happening is the hormones are trying to re-regulate. This woman has just passed life through her body.
You got to give her a break.
She now is I don't know, a feeding. She is keeping a life that has been inside her for 9 months alive. She does not feel like a woman. She feels like a vending machine for milk. Wow. Like that. And I don't think men deeply understand what that's like. And that's just the physical. Yeah. Don't let her have had her whole career. Yeah. Because now she's like, I don't even know what my identity is anymore.
You know, and I don't want to go too far down here because I don't really want you to get mad at me, but I kind of find it funny when I hear these conversations had because so many women want family and kids, right? And so many women are out here making decisions to create families without the man's consent, trapping niggas, shit like that. But then once the baby gets here, woe is me. You know what I mean? My career, my body, et cetera, et cetera. But you chose to go this route. You wanted this, and then you got what you want, and now you don't love it. You know
Well,
what I
I'm
mean?
gonna tell you this, and I'm not mad at you for
Okay,
this.
I'm just wanting.
But I want to point something out. First and foremost, I don't think I want children.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm pretty.
They low key overrated. Love you, kids. Wherever you at.
But what has happened is we have been sold a bill of goods
Yeah.
as women. The patriarchy is real.
Yeah.
And we have been told our whole lives that if you are not a mother and a wife, you ain't shit,
You're
bitch.
not something to anything. Yeah.
And like even now at my age, I grapple with this idea of, am I really enough of a woman? I'm not engaged. I'm not married. I have no children. And statistically, because I love black men, high likelihood that I may not
Get married.
get
or have
married.
kids.
And it's heartbreaking. And also, a woman who has less than a GED has a higher likelihood of finding a man
Oh
than I
yeah,
do.
she's sucking dick so much. I just imagine she working harder in ways that maybe an educated woman wouldn't work.
I don't think that's true.
You don't think so?
I got a lot of friends who is out here ready to get ruggaburns, and they just can't find someone because men
Yeah,
tend
break
to
that down.
think, hold on, because
break it
men
down.
want to be like,
It's like a
oh,
Kevin Samuels moment right here.
oh, first of all, but men want to be out here and be like, well, you didn't call me back soon enough. I texted you 3 days ago. Motherfucker, I have a job, and I'm a college professor on top of that job. Put some respect on my name
I
and
hear you,
respect
but
my
I call
hustle.
bullshit.
A little bit.
How?
Because if it's a job,
three
if
days,
it's a new job, right?
Stop it.
Come on.
If you like me, it won't take you 3 days. to
Okay, how
respond.
about this? If I
If you
hit you,
give me a day, I will say, all
We're
right.
talking about 30 seconds
not
here.
3 days.
We're talking about 30 seconds
but
here.
here,
don't like those
really?
rules
But here's
no
my
to
thing.
give us to send a text. It only take 30 seconds.
I mean, sure, I could send you an emoji thumbs up, but then I get,
Oh, now that's unnecessary.
or I be
So you
like,
can't get a man
like
two
that.
sentences. Hey, life's real busy right now, but thinking can't wait to see.
I mean,
you,
I'll
yada,
do
yada.
that, but then I've heard from people, you're not really good at flirting with me. And it's like, why? Because I'm not doting over you. I'm not, oh, thanks. This one guy I
Some
date,
people like that.
oh,
Some
a
people
lot of men like that because a lot of men are just big kids.
Yeah.
And they're looking for a mother figure and they want that attention.
Mother figure, but
I wouldn't say a mother figure, but,
But
yeah,
not
I
like
get
a
it.
mother, but you want
I
that
understand
care.
the nurturing
Yes.
aspect of a woman.
You
yes.
want my world to revolve around you as the idea, well,
I want attention. I don't want your nurturing. I want your attention. I want your flirtatious vibe. You say doting and you should be flirtatious with your
I
man.
mean, I think that's the nature of a relationship too, right? Like you're with somebody because they give you something that you can't give to yourself, right? So it's natural for you to want to be like
Can't
with
flirt
that
with
person
yourself.
for what they could give you, you know, that you can't give yourself.
I mean, I've heard, you know, like again, I'm 40, I've dated. I'm not married. Like I've dated for a long time. But I've heard men, oh God, Jesus, like in my 20s and stuff, like one dude was like, hit me with a text message like, you thinking about that D?
Oh, that's
No,
that's,
I'm not.
But
No,
she's just
I'm
running
not.
into lame men. It's a lot of lame cats out
There
here.
is a lot
and
of
there's
lame
nothing you
people.
can really do.
Or it's like, oh, you don't know how to flirt, and it's like,
And see, a real man won't say that.
They
A
just-
real man
they'll
will
just flirt.
initiate flirting
And then-
and know how to foster it. But see, if you're fucking with the wrong one, I can't.
there's
help
a,
it.
but I don't know. I mean, I don't know how many of you have been on the dating scene.
Oh, I'm well versed with the dating scene, and one thing I'll say for as far as the flirting goes, if you're a real conversationalist, and one thing about my vibe, I carry my vibe. I tend to find myself in situations where it's like, man, I wish I could meet a woman that can match my vibe, match my energy, and bring it to. I'm constantly controlling the narrative, the conversation, bringing in the laughs, and you know, switching topics, et cetera, et cetera.
Have you ever met somebody that brought that vibe though?
Man,
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean,
maybe
if-
once or twice in passing, nothing that could, you know, that could stick, you know.
I'm just wondering, like, when you had that experience, what it was like.
Oh,
Like,
man,
did you get
it's-
tired of that person real quick?
No, not at all, because you're finally seeing something that you give being brought to the table for you. So it's nothing that you have to do. So you're able to almost sit back and enjoy the vibe in ways that you were providing for them.
I mean, I don't know. I'll give a little pushback on that.
Yeah,
because
go ahead.
I got a vibe.
Yeah.
I'm a vibe. I'm a whole
believe
ass
that.
vibe, right? But I literally have had men tell me, you kind of up here, you real up here, and I'm kind of down here. So maybe if you could just come down
that's them,
to
though.
my level.
Yeah,
And
that's
I mean, clearly,
Well, that
I'm
is
not.
the weakest shit I've actually
But could you
ever heard.
imagine somebody saying
And
some
they were
shit?
educated?
Yeah. They went to college.
Yeah.
I mean,
the education piece doesn't matter.
It
Your
does.
level of
Sometimes it does,
confidence-
though.
No, your
Sometimes
level
it
of
does.
confidence as a man, what you're doing, what value you believe you bring. I mean, that's
I couldn't believe that. Like,
That's
Sometimes
that's
it
a
is
state of
education
self,
because
though.
if a woman is more accomplished than him, a lot of men, feel bad about themselves. You have a degree, I don't. You pledged in a sorority, I don't know what the hell that shit is about. Like, there's a lot of men that have issues when they're.
But let me just tell you, college is nothing but a bubble, man.
Yeah.
And as soon as you leave that bubble, there's a whole fucking world out there. We're on the same
I
playing
mean,
field. At
I
this
agree.
point.
well,
agree.
and
I
you
mean,
could you could pay $39.95 and go to LinkedIn Learning
right.
and be smarter than most people who got a full on college
It doesn't-
degree.
that shit don't matter to me.
Get a master class, mother trucker. But I just couldn't believe, like, you want me to be basic or be
No,
less.
that-
And that's
yeah,
happened
I
to me
agree
a
with you.
lot. But
That's
I also have accepted that some of the shit that I like the most about me is like man repellent.
Yeah.
Or especially for the
Like
type
what?
of.
Give me one thing.
Yeah,
I gotta know, man. Repellent.
I'd like to know.
Well, I'm loud.
I'm loud too, so I
don't
like shit like that.
I don't have a problem
Debating.
debating. No, I can conversate.
I love that as well.
I definitely am not afraid of who I am. And it's taken a really long time. Like I said earlier, I do struggle with self-esteem issues, which sometimes there are days that I feel very sad and I am very conflicted, right? But, people are like, you're a bit brassy. You're a little bit ballsy. You kind of cuss like a sailor.
You're like a type A personality, right?
That's all it is.
Right.
And that's okay. Like, and a lot of times type A personalities need to be mixed with a type B personality so they can roll. But there's a lot of type A personalities that are good with another type A personality. That's
you
what
never
you
said
would just
one
say.
exactly. You never said one thing that would kill me at all. Nothing. Nothing. There's not one of it.
And
So
I
I
actually
believe
think-
there are a lot of men that would be out there.
Right. I think on a psychological level, you just said actually something pretty deep. You actually said that when you see yourself in somebody else,
Yeah.
that actually elevates your vibe.
Oh yeah.
For me, when I see myself in somebody else, I get annoyed.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
That's
and-
crazy.
And so for me,
yeah, I can see
like,
that.
Like
I can get that.
I actually prefer to see what I could contribute to this relationship
Yeah.
that relationship didn't already have.
And you should never be in competition in that way.
No, it's not. It's not competition. It's just what could I bring to the table that could help this moment.
Does it need to be different? Does it need to be different from what she's bringing?
No, I just want to know what can I bring
What do
to
you
it.
bring?
You know what I'm saying? And if I could bring what I bring to it, and it happens to be valued by the other side, I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, bet we're in a good spot. You know what I'm saying? But
I mean, I think that's valuable. I appreciate it. I'm headstrong. I'm stubborn. When I think I know some shit, I think I know it, and
Yeah.
I don't have a problem being like, I'm gonna need you to hit the Google.
Yeah.
Like pull up your smartphone and show yourself how stupid you are.
right.
So I do kind of say I do, and I talk a lot, and sometimes I get on my own fucking nerves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I can admit that. Sometimes I get on my own nerves.
yeah.
Oh, that's
So-
it. So you need to be around somebody that appreciates banter. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
I do like
And
banter.
needs to be witty.
Yeah.
It's
you know?
well read.
And,
Yeah.
that doesn't get butt hurt.
I really want
easy.
someone smarter than me, because that's what you just talked about.
Yeah.
What can you contribute? Be smarter than me. Maybe not in my field,
Right.
But be smarter than me, so you can challenge me,
Right.
In
so
other
I can
ways.
elevate
You ain't gonna
up,
walk all over
right,
me.
right,
Right, exactly.
like upgrade me in the
Right.
way of an intellectual.
I
Something.
don't even know if you want to say be smarter. You want to say know what the hell I don't.
That's it.
You just
That's
want
it,
to
that's it.
somebody who knows their shit.
Make
You're an
me better.
accountant. I'm a programmer.
Yeah.
I know I can talk about tech shit. You could talk about and numbers, and we're learning from each other. You tell me about your day. I'm like, shit, nigga. I took financial accounting one time back in the day, and I'm trying to bring it all together, and vice versa. So in that way, you're being challenged mentally and being stimulated. So
Right.
I don't think it's about a smarter than. It's more than having knowledge of your own that I don't, possess
Right.
myself. So.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Bring something to the table.
Bring something to the table.
Bring
All right,
something to the
last
potluck.
one, as far as what makes sex good, the way you talk during sex. How do you feel about? We talked about banter, praising, encouragement.
Men love
romantic coaching. Let me tell you, nothing is sexier. Oh my God, I'm about to go to a place. Nothing sexier than
Can you open your eyes before you go to that place?
Nothing
Because I feel like
sexier
you're okay.
than when a woman is gazing deep into your eyes, giving you a hand job, spitting on your dick, and telling you.
Where we started earlier.
No, I'm just saying,
Like,
and,
yeah,
and
I'm
just,
with you.
and just telling you how awesome you are. I love you. This dick, it's nothing I won't do for it. And just telling you all the things you want to hear and praising you. Let me tell you, when I'm done, nigga, what do you need for me to do? We gonna get it done for you, girl.
Right.
I'm gonna make your dreams happen. God damn it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I think those things are really big to me, the way you talk.
I just want to apologize because I know this is on camera, and I think my facial expression
No, I saw
just
all of them.
judged you.
No, that's fine.
I
Judgment.
just-
It was a lot of people.
No. I mean, I believe in non-judgment, and I think that that's dope if that's what you like.
Yeah, I'm into that.
Again, I think that a lot of people, because they are not comfortable having conversations about sex, before the bedroom, they don't know what the fuck to say. So then they'll say
I'll tell
whatever
'em.
type of dumb shit they've heard in porn, like, bitch, give me that ass or whatever.
No,
you know
I tell
what
them,
I mean?
you got to have that conversation. I'm going to tell you what I like
But
to hear.
see, and I think that that's great. It's like, how do we encourage people to have more conversations? Obviously, even conversations should be consensual because sometimes we don't know what they've experienced, so they might not want to talk about it. But when it comes to talking, I think it doesn't always have to be the same thing. I think that there could be a day you want to call somebody Zaddy, and then there could be another day that you want to be
love
like,
Zaddy.
I never cared for that name.
Call
I
them
don't know what
by
it is.
their name,
Yeah.
right? And I think it's the same way. There could be some day that women want to be called out their name.
Yeah.
And then there are other days they want to be called by their government.
Yeah.
And they want you to be like, whatever the case may be.
Got the Holy
But
Ghost up there.
Yeah, but I want to go back to the idea of aftercare.
Yeah.
Because I think that conversation is even more important for you to establish what went well. You know what I'm saying? What did
yeah.
you really like? And it
I
shouldn't
love
be
those conversations, by the way.
you know, for you like Gent, you like, let me get you, I'm hungry, go get a sandwich and be like, you know what I really liked? I really liked it when you
did X, Y, and
X,
Z.
Y, and Z.
Yeah, I have those conversations all the time, man. And they're the healthiest thing, to be honest with you. And it's for me, it's almost like your performance evaluation, but
Run it down.
it's informal. It doesn't feel formal, so
That's right.
you're not on the defensive.
It's real-time feedback.
Exactly, it's real-time feedback. And then at the end of the day, you learn from it. Like,
Yes.
oh my gosh, so she liked that. I'm gonna do that next time, but I'm gonna
do it every time. I'm going to do it every time.
I'm a Millie rocking that
Yeah.
bit. You know what I'm saying?
That's,
And then-
that's where you need to check in with yourself too and be clear that, like, are you prepared to receive the feedback?
yeah.
Whoa. We're not trying to do, the aftercare is not supposed to be,
No,
the
it's-
aftercare is like rewarding good.
Yeah.
It is,
Crazy.
but I'm talking about as you're.
Don't
as
bring
you're-
up the bad,
As
right?
you're taking
Yeah.
it though.
That's not the right
As you're
side.
taking
Made
it
that
though.
mistake before.
No, you wait
And
till the
it's
next day.
It's almost like strength finders. You're focusing on the strengths rather than the opportunities, which is great. But I'm saying, but you can take a lot from that learning ability, that learning situation, and then develop. She just told you the blueprint. How to replicate her sexual experience to an ultimate level the next time. So I'm gonna take notes.
Yeah, but it does. It's like, you know, I really liked this, and it felt so good with this. You
Yeah.
praise good behavior. Like,
Definitely.
oh wow, you know, you tried something new today,
So
and
that-
that was
so that-
that
but
was
that's
that
the
really
way you
got
do
me.
it.
I've
But that's
never
the
seen
talking.
you do that before.
That's the
the way you
talking
do
in sex. That could be that. I actually like it before, while you're kissing, while you're having your intimate moment prior to actually having sex and really talking through
Over dinner.
stuff. Oh
Yeah.
my
Over
gosh.
dinner.
Yeah, the
Over a
sex
drink.
date. I call it
I
the
love
sex
that.
date.
I love it. It's the best time because then you can really even gauge if you're going to be sexually compatible.
And you know why that's so awesome and turns a lot of people on? Because it's giving you something to anticipate. And remember what we said is the most important part of sex. It's the brain.
Yeah.
So you're having this
Anticipation's fire.
conversation, that pudendal nerve, because you're starting to imagine and think about, that will start sending signals to your genitals to engorge or start, because, there you get it.
Well,
chubby.
listen,
That's
we're
what we
going
call
to
it.
wrap it up right now, but I wanted to take just an opportunity to just thank you.
Oh, yeah. This was dope. We could
I
have probably
like-
talked all night.
Yeah, we could have definitely talked all night. I think we had a real robust, for me, it was an educated conversation. I learned a whole lot. I'm actually going to look that nerve up a little bit later still. But I'd also like to thank PC as well.
Yeah,
Now, Michelle, is there anything that you want to, any upcoming events that you want to plug, or if you want to plug any of your socials, so people know how to find you?
Yeah, you can follow me at MHSexpert. That's at MHSEXPERT. You know, I'm floating and flying around. I'm here, there, and everywhere doing the work, doing the work.
All right, cool. So you can find Brunch with the Boys on everything as well. We're YouTube, every podcast platform. Our socials, Brunch with the Boys. Actually on Instagram, I think it's boys_brunch on Twitter. We're on TikTok as well, Brunch with the Boys. And also check out our website, www.brunchwiththeboys.com.
Sounds good. Don't assume your pussy is good, ladies. Get out of here.
You're an idiot.
Yeah, coffee and brunch. We can have our conversations over coffee and brunch. Ha.